All right, welcome back, fam. So we're gonna bring you the part two of the conversation with Ryan. Like I said in the previous video, it was a pretty long one, and because we had a lot to unpack and a lot to talk about. But we're gonna roll the part two, and if you have any questions as they come up, please go ahead and leave them in the comment sections, and we'll get back to you. But if there's any specific topics that you want to hear in the future, any specific people, let us know, and we'll try to do our due diligence. But go ahead and please like, comment, share, subscribe to our YouTube channel so we can bring you some more, and you don't miss out any of this. But remember this: we're still on this journey to self motivate ourselves, and really what we're talking about is don't wait for somebody to motivate you because you can do it yourself. That's really what these podcasts are about. But enjoy and let us know how you think. We'll see you around. Okay, so maybe you can delve into this a little bit more, but I think most of the time when people talk about life experiences and past experiences and stuff, I think we tend to look more on the negative side. It's not very often that you hear people say, "Hey, man, I had some pretty good experiences back in the day, and that is helping me motivate myself now." Right? Most of the time, it's more so like, my past was pretty bad, so that's gonna help me motivate myself. Or, hey, my past was pretty bad, so I don't even have any motivation now. Now, I think for the youth, and maybe a little bit for some adults, but mostly the youth, it's more so, hey, I had a bad past, and because of that, my drive and my motivation is not there anymore. And if you ask me, I think it's probably the opposite. If you had a pretty bad past, right, I think you should use that and kind of capitalize on that as an experience to move forward. Do you believe that?
Yeah, I mean, you can look at it either way, but I definitely see what you're saying. There's a lot of times we kind of take negative experiences as a reason to kind of go down a bad road and kind of use it as something that we don't necessarily want to recover from. But a lot of times you have to, whether it's I relate a lot of stuff to sports, right? So, let's say an athlete hurts a knee or, tears an ACL or something like that. It would be very easy for an athlete to go, hey, you know what, tore my ACL, I'm going to be out for an entire year. This career thing was good, but I'm out, But what do these athletes do? They put their head down, they focus, they use this motivation to come back from it. So we're talking about world-class athletes doing this, people who make millions and millions of dollars, of course, right? We're not world-class athletes, but I do think they set a great example for us that, in terms of adversity and overcoming obstacles and stuff like that, every single person in every single career path is going to face a bad day, a tough obstacle, a bad boss, maybe a negative evaluation, some kind of obstacle, or even a personal life experience such as a divorce or kids being in trouble at home, whatever obstacles you may have. And it's you're 100% right. It's up to us to kind of find that motivation and kind of flip it into a positive light instead of hanging up on it as a reason to be negative. So that's a good point. It's easy to be motivated when you're winning, right?
Right.
Everything being handed to you, or you deserve it, I'm sure. But when you're winning and you're getting these accolades and these performances, it's easy to say, I want to keep doing it. I want to keep doing it. I want to keep doing this. When you face that adversity and when you face some negative life obstacles or life experiences, it helps keep that motivation going.
Right. So, my follow-up question is going to be, you are known to always have goals. That's just the kind of person you are, right? So, from the time you accomplish your first goal or one goal to the time you accomplish the next goal, what normally happens in between?
That's a good question. So, in between your goals, what's happening in between your goals? Well, I think it's really just important for you to always be reassessing and always looking to see if that goal is relevant. Because a lot of times, I'm guilty of this. At very beginning of a new year, everyone wants to make an entire list of goals for the whole year and say, you know what, I'm gonna gain 15 pounds of muscles. I'm gonna cut 3 minutes off my run time. I'm gonna finish my college degree. I'm gonna do all this. Well, you might get the run time down, you might gain some weight, or, some muscle mass, or whatever. You might be working towards your degree, but that 10th goal on that list, by the time August rolls around, it may be completely irrelevant, right? So it's always important to reassess, reevaluate yourself in between each goal to find out if that next goal is still relevant, and then maybe new goals pop up. Maybe it's kind of like stepping stones, right? Maybe that next goal was down here, but realistically, maybe you need to set a more short-term goal and say, you know what, in order to get way over here, I'm going to need to set a new goal right here, and I can end up here in the meantime. So yeah, I'm sure you've heard of CPI, right? Being in supply, continuous process improvement, right? It's kind of the same thing for us as humans, as individuals, as we grow and we continue to get older and mature and things like that. It's looking in the mirror, saying, what are my weak points? And what am I doing to address those weak points? So a lot of times the hardest part is identifying our weak points, and that's where your mentors and your coworkers and your supervisors and stuff like that you're with, those can kind of help you find some of those weaker points. And when you get that reaction or when you get that feedback saying, hey, this might be a weak point for you, dive right into it. Find some way to address those weak issues, and then that's kind of to answer your question, I guess, say set new goals to improve your weak areas. And don't get stuck in goals that you set 6, 7, 8, 9 months ago. Always be reevaluating that goal. Always be reevaluating that next stepping stone, because priorities change, life happens, So yeah, just always be reevaluating, I guess, is my answer.
Okay. So I guess to summarize it, and this is what I'm picking from it. I want to make sure that I'm not distorting it or anything. So if you want to set goals, definitely set goals that's realistic. Obviously, your goals are probably gonna graduate. So set goals that you can accomplish right now, and then on to the next one. But as you also set these goals, I think you should also write down what your strategy is gonna be in accomplishing these goals. Because I think most of the time what happens is people just write down goals. I want to do this, I want to do that, but they don't really have any strategy on how they want to accomplish those goals. So yes, right off the bat, the first goal, they knock out the first goal and maybe the second goal. But because they don't have any strategy, they don't know how to reattack, the next goal that's on there. But if you have a strategy that you wrote down, say, hey, okay, so in me trying to lose 3 pounds, my strategy is I'm going to run 5 minutes every morning. I'm going to eat a little earlier, before my bedtime. Whatever your strategy is, right? So once you're done with one goal, you go back to the drawing board and you kind of look at your strategies again and say, okay, I'm reevaluating my strategies. Are my strategies going to be good for my next goal? Or do I need to add up something else? But in doing that, you're also reminding yourself what you need to do to accomplish that goal. Is that kind of going along with what you're saying?
I mean, it's exactly what I'm saying.
Okay.
And, I could even use the COVID situation, right? Let's say my goal was to put on 15 pounds of muscle let's say I made that goal in January, February. Well, when COVID started happening in March and April and stuff started shutting down over here, just being realistic, it's impossible for me to gain 15 pounds of muscle if the gyms are closed.
Right.
Maybe not possible, but it's probably not as realistic of a goal as it was in January or February, right? So reevaluate. Maybe 15 pounds in a day. Maybe I redirect my goals towards cardio. I can still run outside and stuff like that. Maybe I redirect my goals. I'm sure you're familiar with SMART, what they call SMART goals.
Right.
Specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and a timeline.
Mm-hmm.
Things happen. Things change all the time. So attainable and realistic, timeliness, those things can change at any given day or whatever. So, that's what I'm saying is always be looking in, saying, can I change, or do my goal need to change? And also have circumstances made my goals change. Because again, if I'm spending all of COVID quarantine time trying to gain 15 pounds of muscle, and all I'm doing is push-ups and squats in my living room, I'm probably not setting myself up for a lot of success on that.
Okay. I know you're very big on reading books, and I'm gonna tell on myself while we live on the camera. Ryan gave me a book to read. I'm still reading it, I promise. And if you want me to No, so so I had the book, I had the paper copy you gave me, but I realized that that wasn't my best form of reading books. So I have the Audible version. So I listen to the audio. I can listen whenever. So I'm listening. But Ryan gave me a book called Dare to Lead by Brené Brown that I'm still reading. I promise to finish that very soon. But how much do you think that your self motivation is linked to the books that you read?
About a very large percent, I would say. You look at history, you look at current leaders, previous leaders, going back to Martin Luther King, Harry Truman, Dwight D. Eisenhower, President Obama. People all throughout history, all these people have great quotes about reading and how knowledge is power, and if you want to be a leader, you must be a reader. And I mean, there's tons of just kind of great quotes about leading and stuff like that. And, in a formal sense, our education stops at the 12th grade level, right? We graduate school. Some of us pursue college, so maybe that stops with our bachelor's degree or whatever. But at some point in our lives, formal education is going to stop, right? Your learning should never stop. Knowledge is a continuous thing. It should always be evolving. You should always be trying to work on something, because the moment you're not progressing, you're probably regressing, right? So the knowledge is out there. It's just up to us to attain it. So when you're talking about using this motivation and stuff like that, a lot of times reading these books motivates me. Some of my favorite books are leadership books, and say Dare to Lead is right now my favorite. I read it about a year ago. It's still my favorite book that I've ever read. But it motivated me to want to be a new leader. The last time I read that book, chief results were getting ready to come out. I had this thing. I'm going to make chief. I'm just going to be the best chief in the world, and I wanted to read as many leadership books as I could to just really make sure I was doing my job right and being motivating and ready to lead people, right? So for me, that book in itself probably made me a better leader in some sense, and just kind of encouraged me to be better. But like I said, there's books out there for anything and everything, so it's up to us to read it and just continuous. Again, going back to process improvement, self-improvement, always trying to learn something, always trying to figure out something new. Huge on reading. I'll give you another example. Kwame, I'll give you another example. One thing that I hear in the military a lot is Generation Z, right? Generation Z. Gosh, all they do is ask why. Back in my day, we used to just listen to LS1 Kusi, and we wouldn't ask why. Back in my day, we should just do this, right? I got it. Well, I read a great, book. Maybe I'll send it to you next. It's called Leaders Eat Last by Simon Sinek, and he has an entire chapter talking about millennials and Generation Z's way of thinking and why they ask why, and it dives deep into. They don't mean anything disrespectful about it or anything like that. They just want to know why so they can help and understand better, right? So, reading that book helps me on a daily basis lead better, understand the sailors that I work with better. All right. So that's just an example of reading a book, learning something new, and applying it to your personal life.
Okay, thank you. All right. So just a few moments ago, we were talking about your top 5 books right now. You mind sharing that with our viewers?
Yeah, I'll probably mess up on one of the authors or something, but I'll try to go through the list. So we're talking about 5 favorite leadership style books, right. And so my 5 right now are Legacy by James Kerr, The First 90 Days by Michael Watkins, Start With Why by Simon Sinek, Leaders Eat Last by Simon Sinek, and then what we were talking about the other day, or a while ago, Dare to Lead by Brené Brown. So those are my top 5. Everybody has their personal preferences, but those 5 really resonate with me. And all 5 of those are just really books that it seems like I was tabbing every 5th or 6th page with a good quote or good hey, I want to follow up on this and read up on this again. Just so much good information for leaders, and especially none of them are military specific necessarily, but they all resonated well with me in terms of leadership in the military and things like that. So.
Okay. Before I started Dare to Lead, I was listening to Jacko Willink and Leif Babin. So I'll probably send you that. Maybe you might add it to your top 5. I really liked it. But thank you very much, man. I think there's a lot of knowledge that you just dropped on us today. Thank you very much. We really appreciate it. I definitely learned a whole lot. Do you have any departing words for people that might be watching?
I mean, really, final words for you, man. Thanks for what you're doing. Thanks for taking the time to set this up and continuously, talk about motivating and things like that, man. You're doing it. You're inspiring people, motivating people. Whether it's just one person gets something out of these videos, man, it's all worth it. So I just want to say thank you very much, man. You've always motivated me. It's been a pleasure working with you, and I just look forward to continue to see you succeed and all the things that you do, man. So really appreciate all you do.
Thank you. My regards to everybody in Japan.
Thanks, man. I'll say hi to your brother for you.
I will. Thank you. All right.